Welcome to the Meat and Potatoes podcast. We're here with Beth Martial, who is the director of the PROG Development Center. How are you, Beth?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about what the PROG Development Center is. We were talking a little bit before, and it's bigger, cooler, and more innovative than I thought. So tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a private operating foundation stemming from the support of Progressive Leasing, or PROG Holdings, Inc., which is a publicly traded company. And it's been stood up for a couple of years now. But the beauty is that we've been kind of, really giving charitable contributions in the spirit of volunteerism for decades, since the founding of the company. But we've made it more official to give back to the community in different ways. So we give back across the nation through these giving, through time, through money. It's improving lives through resources and people to level the playing field. And the Development Center is this third pillar of the foundation that I think is really innovative and special, which I'm leading. And it is really being hyper-focused on the greater West Valley City to really leverage technology, education, and development to enhance socio-economic opportunities for the youth there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So with that development center, that probably means there's like concrete and parking stalls and computers and electricity and all of that. Is that correct?
So it's getting there.
Getting there.
It's been a journey to be able to find a place that is going to work for the youth. So we're really, when I say youth, it's really focusing on like 16 to 24-year-olds. We're not going to turn other people away, but that's the focus.
Mm-hmm.
And the other focus is really thinking about being data-driven, working with Granite School District and others to say, hey, where should we be focusing our energies? So we're really focusing on students who've attended or who are graduated from Granger and Hunter, Cypress and Magna, and then there's Roots Charter High School too. And so while we're getting stood up, we've had like these pop-ups, right? We've been using like Ivory Foundation has been really great of allowing us to use a space over by Fairborn Station. West Valley Library through the county has been awesome. Cypress High School has been awesome, but we still need our own home.
Yeah.
So we're very hopeful that that's going to be coming here before we know it, where we already have furniture picked out and otherwise in the Youth Advisory Council leading us the way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of vagabonds before we have our office, and a lot of the same problems. You can still like accomplish most of what you'd like, but being a gypsy is not conducive to like long-term success.
Yeah, we are feeling that, and it's really awesome to have this moment. It's a really vulnerable moment, but a very special one to build connections with the community, build trust. There's a lot of different partners and stakeholders, a lot of different audiences that we're engaging with. To be able to set up programming, to be able to think about what mentorship looks like or career coaches could be. And so that foundation, we're solid, we're implementing now. We're rolling out, and we're going to see some lessons learned and maybe some hiccups, but more than anything, that service. And we're really stoked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned 16 to 24, Hunter, Cypress, Granger.
Mm-hmm.
In reading biographies, there's a lot where they went to the YMCA after school, or they went to, again, some space, and they learned how to become a better person, or they learned electrical engineering, or whatever. There's a million ways to skin the cat and be successful in this world. What are people going, when it's all built and ready to go, what are they going to go there for?
Yeah, it's such a great question. There's 5 programs that we have. We're being guided by and let me be explicit with this, a steering council that is really kind of official thought partners. And we have some beautiful movers and shakers on there helping us. And the critical mass of the steering council are our youth advisory council, because their voice is needed. They know what they need. Maybe they don't know what they don't know, but they know what they need. And so our programming is absolutely solidified by their voices and by listening sessions throughout the community. And so what we have is a high school program, so making sure that individuals are able to retain their high school education and then graduate from it or recover, right? So they can get that springboard to be able to go on to post-secondary opportunities, which we know is so important, right? Getting your high school degree or diploma, is going to make a difference of $1 million earnings in a year's time frame. The second program is, in no particular order, higher education. So some people want to go into that space. So what can we do to help them go there? Maybe it's leveraging up Youth Science, which is a platform to be able to think about what aptitudes or talents and skills individuals are interested in, and that can kind of gear us up for like an assessment and like helping them. Okay, maybe it is a CDL or an EMT kind of certification. We can help them get into those spaces with our partnership with the Department of Workforce Services, or maybe it's something else where they want to go into college. Maybe it's the University of Utah, maybe it's Salt Lake Community College, maybe it's Western Governors University that we have launched a partnership with, and thinking about how people can bridge that difference between, I didn't do very well in high school, or I wasn't ready for a higher education, and now I am, and really trying to set them up for success. The third program, which I really should have started with, is like the Spotlight, and that's career and certificates. So we don't know what we don't know. Having people come in through a partnership with Junior Achievement or otherwise, Alpha, which is an organization, and many others to be able to say, how did you get to be a software engineer? How did you get to be a data analyst? How did you get, and really trying to say, here's something you could do. Is that something that's inspiring to you? So part of what we're doing is, sure, ACT or SAT study groups, some FAFSA workshops, but then also really bringing in certificate programs for IT. So right now we have a cohort that is happening. There's 17 people in our cohort that are learning about IT tech support, data analytics, UX, UI designer, right? Different things of this nature, data analytics as well. So it's really exciting. They also have professional coaches that are helping them along the way, and other workshops and whatnot too. That was long-winded, but there's 2 more programs. The other one is around an incubator, because not everyone wants to go to college. Not everyone wants to have like that tech dream, I suppose. But that spirit of entrepreneurship is alive. And when we think about the greater West Valley City, it's the second largest city in the state of Utah. It is the most diverse city in the state of Utah. And that spirit of entrepreneurship is booming. It's, that beat of our hearts, right? And so giving them the skill sets there to maneuver. So we have a cohort that's meeting through Salt Lake Community College, and that's been really fun. Last but not least is who's going to prioritize education or careers if their basic needs aren't being met. So it's a very vibrant community. It's very rich in culture and culinary cuisines and many different things. But, going out and talking to the community, those listening sessions have identified a need for mental health support, a need for knowing that they are welcome and belonged, especially in the tech space. So we're trying to think about what ways we can do to help them, if it's through a career closet, if it's through like a studio like this, a career studio, where they can have a Zoom room or otherwise in that digital connection, because not everyone has that, and trying to be thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, sounds like the bases are covered. And I've maintained this stance a lot on this podcast of whether you're in high finance or doing arts and crafts or whatever in between, with folks like you and foundations like you and entrepreneurs that create foundations. There's so many ways.
So many ways
to be a part of the ecosystem. You mentioned graduating high school has a big dollar amount, but even like a certificate, even if it's like 8 hours, you never know. Like that one little smidgen of learning might completely propel you into a new stratosphere. So kudos to you and your team for like giving even one more like sharp knife into the toolbox, because with what you've just described, it's kind of on the person at that point if like they still don't want to be a part of the ecosystem because it's all there.
Yeah. Let me speak to that a little bit more. So, we have in this design, and something that I really want to put a spotlight on, are maybe it's on the person for sure, right? That's, they're driving the boat. But part of the beauty of the foundation is being surrounded by colleagues and community colleagues, but specifically those who are at a PROG holdings company, that they have an opportunity to be career coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some really great support to have that time, that investment into people. So when that Dev Center is stood up, we see it being vibrant with different programs, maybe a pop-up Boys and Girls Club for teens, different opportunities for PICTAR, which is a Pacific Islander grassroots organization, again, having an after-school program, different certificate programs that are happening throughout the day or meetups and whatnot of that nature. But then along the side of them are these champions, these career coaches to say, I've been where you're at and what can we navigate, right? And so I'm really excited, very enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. It is a quicker path to victory if you can ask somebody like, hey, where did you screw up? Well, there was this one time. Just don't do that one, and that'll save you like 8 months, right?
Well, isn't that something? Because
That's
for
worth a lot.
me, I had that social capital.
Yeah.
And that aspect of networking is huge. And especially when we're talking about youth who have experienced COVID during a time that was very pivotal to them. I don't think that, they have grasped that particular idea, right? Or when they're schooling that's online and things of that nature, there's a lot of merit behind all of that. But then also that socialization and that networking to say exactly what you just asked, like a trusted person to say, give me some pointers. What are my options?
Yeah. And you're looking at them in the face. And
Yeah.
it's a lot harder to say, oh, there's no options, or I'll just delete this conversation.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of benefit there. So it sounds like once you guys have the development center, there will be pop-ups where, you had to be the pop-up before.
Yeah.
And in theory, they will at one point have their own center, and it just will grow and expand, right?
Yeah, you never know. We have about 30 partners at the table, and it's really a model of trying to build capacity to a location that is thirsty for more resources. There are great and beautiful resources that exist right there in the greater West Valley, but there's a need. There's a request for more. And so it's really exciting to think about how we can show up and how we are the ones leading the way. But there's also room for other people to engage with us. So we have a couple of different committees that are welcoming like my colleagues to volunteer, as I mentioned, as like a career coach, as a mentor. But then also we have a scholarship committee, and we also have that career coach committee, and then forthcoming an internship committee that welcomes both PROG people, as we belovedly call ourselves, and then also the community. So my community colleagues can be a part of this greater whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And for those that want to get involved in the dozens of ways, it sounds like, best way.
So progfoundation.org, PROG, PROG. That's really the best way. And, there's definitely, it takes a village approach, right? So for example, around our data collection and really trying to think about what is our data points, but what does that look like, and having it visualized over a point of time. Domo for Good is a partner with ours. We're really excited about, very energized by their support. I think there's other ways that Silicon Slopes can get involved with us too. And let's just cradle this village and do it together.
Yeah. And West Valley is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from everywhere else in the Salt Lake Valley. So I assume like if there's folks in Murray or Holiday or North Salt Lake that want to be involved, you'd say yes.
We would say yes. And if you want to kind of look at us from a distance, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we are on Facebook as well. So those are really great ways for people to kind of lurk around the corner and see what we got going on.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's plan on having you on again in a year and a half, because I think there will be some really cool updates, because it sounds like you're right at that go line, and you're going to go.
We're going to do it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Beth. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you.